So welcome to the next in the Presca Lunchtime series. These are the webinars. My name is Rob Webben and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Presca Sportswear, and we're the first climate positive sportswear company. This week, really chuffed to be joined by Temi Lateef from My Choice. So without further ado, Temi, if you want to just dive in, tell me a little bit about yourself and your background and My Choice. I know there's loads to explore, but yeah, I'm just excited to hear more.
Okay. Good morning once again. My name is Temi Lateef. I am the founder of an organization by the name of My Choice. We are a community-based organization providing opportunities, support, as well as engagement to the community. Whether you are a young person or adult, we help and try to cater to everybody's needs. We facilitate in sports, getting people job ready, and obviously providing job opportunities through our organization one way or another.
Amazing. So I know, so it's quite a wide kind of remit for the charity. I know there's a big focus on sport, like you say, on cycling and using that as a way to break down barriers. So yeah, I'd love to hear more about that and the things you've done and are doing to kind of facilitate that for people.
Okay, so I guess organization wise, we have been running since 2017, and in 2018, I, for some strange reason, came up with an idea that I was going to cycle from England to Africa, Nigeria.
Why not?
Why not? You know. So basically, I'm gonna give you the condensed kind of version of this story. 2018, myself and a friend began talking. The idea came about. We would try to cycle from England to Nigeria. Didn't know anything about bikes in that respect. I know how to ride a bike. I can sit on a bike. I can pedal, and I can go. Other than that, didn't know anything in terms of how to train. I could just about fix a puncture, fix my brakes and stuff like that. So trying to cycle to Africa, you need to equip yourself with the knowledge of fixing your punctures, brakes, chains, everything. Have a bit of knowledge in terms of navigating. Above all, get your fitness and your stamina up, because 3,000 miles from England to Nigeria. So I essentially started my journey, bought a secondhand bike, started cycling then every single day, 3 times a day, 3 hours a day, to get myself into a comfortable cycling kind of position for when I began the trip. The training consisted of gym, yoga, and cycling, of course, just to get my body in shape mentally and physically. I set off in November 2019. During the training process, I discovered that because I needed information, I'm traveling to Africa, I have no knowledge of how to map out how I'm going to get there. So I essentially wanted to meet people who had knowledge in cycling, could potentially do this trip with their eyes closed, so they could give me some training tips, stuff like that, or people who had cycled maybe London to France, so I could get a route, France to Andorra, Andorra to Spain, etc. So I created something called London Social Cycles, which was basically just an opportunity for people who had cycling knowledge or people who didn't to get fit, but also meet me so I could pick their brain to get information in regards to places I could stay, places to go along my trip, and also to raise a bit of money. So I would essentially be training people that couldn't cycle, had to cycle, or be a cycle buddy, if you want to call it that. That lasted for about 8 months. We set that up on our online app, got to about 600 people in terms of members. But what I realized was there were no Black people that signed up on this app, even though I had highlighted I'm trying to cycle to Africa, which was great, but also not so great. Yes, people were helping me and getting involved in cycling, but my thing was doing what I was doing. I was not seeing the representation in regards to cycling brands, magazines, anything in terms of giving people of color, whether men, women, kids, publicity in terms of just being in a magazine, being the face of a bike, wearing a helmet and telling us why we should wear a helmet. Just little things that could encourage other people that look like me to be on bikes. What I did notice when I did a Google search or anything like that in regards to people of color on bikes was a lot of negativity and negative posts in regards to people of color using bikes to commit crime, robberies, or
Right.
just
Massive
people,
stereotypes.
yeah, or just
Yeah.
people up to no good, or people on bikes cycling very dangerously in the roads. So I ultimately wanted to change that narrative. Being from East London, I know a lot of kids around my area, they cycle, they use bikes as a way to express themselves. And when they have nothing to do, rather than finding themselves getting in trouble, they jump on their bikes to release whatever stress or anything that's been going on in the day. They're on their bike. So for me personally, that is a positive individual who knows they've got nothing to do and nowhere to go to release all this stress. But rather than use that idle time to cause trouble or commit crime, they get in with their friends, they're getting on bikes and they're teaching themselves how to do these amazing tricks and skills and explore their city and their surroundings. So why not make this something that they can see themselves having a future in by highlighting this and rewarding them with positivity rather than negativity? So even their parents, when they see their guy out on their bikes, will actually encourage them to keep it up because they're doing something good rather than the parents seeing them on their bikes and saying, oh, you're up to no good again, and maybe I won't fix that bike if it breaks or stuff like that. So carried on pushing, sent hundreds of emails to different companies, letting them know who I was, what I was aiming to do, and if in any way they could support the trip I was going on, just by giving me a bit of publicity or highlight the people I've now met who are from my area. Some are beginners into cycling, and just to give them the experience of what it's like to be in the world of cycling.
Mm.
Um, Fast forward to November 1st, went on the trip, did the trip. Trip took me 3 months in total, returned back in January of 2020. I had a whole plan to showcase like pictures, do a little talk and stuff like that. And that was the opportunity for everyone who followed the journey where I posted some pictures to ask me questions and stuff like that. But then COVID hit in March of
Yep.
2020. So I got back end of January, took some downtime to just rest and reflect and kind of get back into the swing of things in London. And by the time I was aiming to showcase everything, as I said, COVID hit. So
Lockdown.
yeah, so my thing was rather than allow this to stop the momentum, reach out to all the people who wanted to come to the show I was going to put on. And my incentive was okay, lockdowns come about, people are furloughed, people are stressed, kids are at home rather than at school, people need an outlet again. Gyms are closed as well. Lots of people weren't really trying to run. I'm not an advocate for running because I get shin splints. So I said, anyone who wants to come out with me, cycle once a week, as long as you turn up, when we finish riding, I will make sure there's a hot meal ready, prepared for you back at my house. And we can all just eat, have a little social, and that's that. So started that in March of 2020, and by August of that year, we had worked with close to 1,600 people. We fed close to 800 plus people,
Nice.
all from our house.
Yeah.
My partner cooked religiously every Sunday, and that essentially formed Black Riders Association,
Yeah.
which was just a community group that allowed people from the community to come out, be amongst people like them, just to come out and have fun, really and truly. And my thing was, we will start slow and we will cycle 10 miles this week, and then I'll see you again next week. We'll do 15 miles. And then the following week will be 20 miles. And then the week after will be 30 miles. And then by the end of the month, people were so used to cycling and just being on their bike. A lot of people didn't wait till Sunday to jump on their bike. They started to see themselves going out during the week to blow off some steam. Some people decided, I'm going to cycle to work now. Some people decided to go for evening rides. So people were off their own back now because they had the confidence and they knew what to do and they knew how to navigate, and they just felt comfortable being on the road, as if to say they belong there now. People were cycling freely, and we would still do our weekly meetups. And then the aim was, we started in March. I would get everyone who's committed, efficient enough to cycle from London to Southend, because we do an annual ride London to Southend every year. So we got close to like 35 people to Southend who had never cycled before.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then we did it again in 2021, and then we had 75 people turn up, and then we've done it again this year where we took our school kids. So did the trip, came back, set up under the My Choice umbrella Black Rider Association, which is essentially a community cycling club where we work with everybody, again, kids to adults, and that is sessions for people who can't ride a bike. So we'll teach you how to ride a bike. Sessions for people who can ride, but they need the experience to kind of get confident to jump onto the roads. We give them sessions. We get people cycle qualifications by linking them up with cycling organizations we work with. We get people opportunities to work with name brand cycling organizations. So one of our members that we work with is now an ambassador for Trek Bikes through what we do. And we just give people opportunities to put themselves in places that they were either nervous or didn't know about before, because we're in those spaces. So by breaking down some barriers, we've been able to get some insight into the world of cycling, cycling shows, cycling events, and then we pass that knowledge and information back down the ladder. And then for those who have interests, we try to equip them with the right people that can motivate them, inspire them, and just help them stay on that journey. And then people find themselves entering competitions. We had a cohort of young people who did a London Triathlon this year.
Nice.
We had some people who did London to Brighton this year, London to Southend once again. Some people participate for the first time in Ride London, which is another organization we work with. So just bringing everything together, and through that, we essentially, like I said in the start, with every organization we work with, do you have an opening for a young person or adult who could either do some volunteer work or get a job? And we will help them by giving them hours with our organization in terms of volunteering, just to get them motivated and in the kind of mix of what it's like if you've been out of work for so long. Okay, you're going to do some volunteering with us, which will get you time conscious once again, which will give you a sense of belonging and a sense of meaning and a sense of I guess power in yourself. Because if you've been out of work for a long time, kind of feel depressed, okay, all my friends are going to work, I'm at home, kind of feel a bit low. So now someone's giving you kind of like a position of power, like this can't be done if you're not here. The responsibility is on you, and you feel, okay, yes, I'm part of a team, part of the community, and you try to do your best, and we try to support and encourage you. And once we feel you've kind of shown, be on time for things and you know what you're doing, and okay, you don't really need us per se anymore. Next step is, okay, well, these are your interests, these are your hobbies, these are people we work with, there's an opening here. If you're confident that you can go for it, we'll help you. And that is the start of someone's journey now back into work, where they're now earning money. And the emphasis we try to give to everybody is, once you feel or you find yourself back on your feet, or you have not necessarily money to give back, but time, please come back and give that time back in one way or another. So maybe you're coming back to volunteer again with a new cohort of people, and your testimony to show, you were just 6 months ago in the same position, maybe on benefits, no job, not even thinking you want to get back into the working world. But through this engagement and meeting other people, your mindset's changed. You're starting to do sports, so your diet changes because you're cycling to a lot of places. You're saving a bit of money because you're not having to pay for transport, because you're watching what you eat. You're not eating junk food at lunch anymore. Maybe you're making food at home. So just by cycling, a lot of different things in your life start to change. You start to mingle with different kinds of people who give you insight into different things that you may have interest in, but because you feel you don't know anybody in those circles, you feel it's out of your reach. But we bring that all back and show you like it's good to talk to people, it's good to be part of something. And once you find one thing you like, engage in that, and out of that, other things can become possible. And we try to not let people limit themselves to just one thing, because you can be as many things as you want to be in this life. You just have to be willing to take that risk, take that chance, and put the time in, and the rest will shape itself.
That's amazing. I love what you did. And there's a couple of things that really came back time and time again was about empowering people, really, really genuinely empowering people, and massively strong about community as well. So, I mean, we don't have hours and hours, but I wish we did, because I could listen to you talking all day. What, like, tell me, like, why you, like, what is it, Temi, that is driving you so much to do this, to work on this project, to give so much to other people, empower other people, really build this strong network of companies as well as people, and this really strong community? What is it that makes you tick, and why?
Do you know what? So when I was young, I used to get in a lot of trouble at school and in my area. So I still live in the same area that I was kidding. And this is where all of our projects start from. Same area. I work in or near the primary school I went to, everything. Because I'm still based where I grew up, I firsthand know what the area has been like, what can happen if idle time is presented. I also know the trouble I caused in my area as a person. So when I was like 16, 17, I did get arrested. I had to go to jail for crimes I committed. And I got out in 2010. And when I was in prison, decided to do some courses. And one of the teachers in there pulled me to one side one day and was just like, obviously people come in and out of jail all the time, but there's something about me that I shouldn't be here. Although, yes, I've committed a crime. So my crimes was possession, intent to supply. It is serious, but in my head, nothing serious like that. In that sense, you know what I mean? So she was just like, you're very intelligent. Although you're in a bad situation right now, you come to class every day with a smile on your face, a positive attitude. Like, you don't really see too many prisoners with that kind of mindset. And my thing was, at the end of the day, what I was doing was illegal. I was breaking the law. I already knew if I get caught, I'm going to jail. Based on my age, this is the time I may get. This is the time after I've served, I will be out, and I will only be about 21, 22 by the time I'm released, which means I'm still young. I've still got the rest of my life to live. I've had my fun. Crack on with life now. I've done everything, do you know what I mean? From an early age that I feel, listen, what else can I possibly do? Do you know what I mean? I've partied crazily. I've bought stuff. I've had designer clothes. And once you get to the age where it's like, is this all it's worth? You're kind of like, all right, like it's out your system. And I'm fortunate that I was able to get out of my system from a very young age. And I personally just used my time in jail to sleep a lot that I wasn't getting when I was out. Just calm myself down and actually just think, where do I want to be? And what I noticed in jail is a lot of people can't read, they can't write. When you get out of jail, there's a lot of pressure, there's anxiety. So personally, I did not find jail difficult or hard, because I've also been to boarding school. And if I'm to compare the two, a London prison is far more easier than an African boarding school that I was in. So to me, it was like a walk in the park, but it's so boring and it's time wasted, especially for someone like me that I like to do a lot of things. And okay, I'm stuck.
I can tell that.
And being stuck was like, that was the hardest thing for me. So many things going on in my head, but I can't put these things into action. That more than anything, I'm missing your friends and family, but having your mind just bubbling all the time and not being able to execute certain things or put them into play was like, all right, you know what? For this main reason, I can't come back here, because this is an ultimate waste of time. I love to travel as well. can't do none of that sitting in this place. So I said I'm never coming back here. I know that for a fact, and I never have since 2010. Haven't had no issues with the police whatsoever. Work in prisons now, funny enough. So did a full complete circle. And here's the thing: when I got released in 2010, it was off the back of what the teacher in jail said to me.
Right.
She then told me when I get out, her friend works for a charity, that I should go there and she's going to set up a meeting. And I went there. It wasn't too far from my house. And the people in that organization that were there at the time basically helped me so much. They got me involved in music, poetry, spoken word, acting, to the point they gave me a job where I'm going back into schools to do testimonials and verbatim pieces of drama, and just so many things that, okay, from having no CV and I've never had a job in my life, I got out of prison, I did poetry. I'm now an alumni at the Battersea Arts Centre. I worked with the Rich Mix, or did some poetry there. I presented a piece of work to Prince William and his wife. I performed at the South Bank at the Barbican.
Oh, Temi, you're so bloody inspiring.
Orchestra. So my thing was, someone who I didn't know, even with the past I had, gave me a chance.
Yeah.
And I took it with both hands, and this is what I'm able to do in life now. And off the back of that, I've met my partner, I've got kids, and I wouldn't be where I am now if certain strangers didn't.
One person can make all the difference, right? And
Yeah.
now you're doing that for other people.
So my thing is, if someone could take that time out to give to me, and I didn't throw it away, and I grabbed it with every opportunity, and looking back, these are all the things I've been able to do, coming from where I'm coming from and having the past I had. Anybody can do this as well if there are more people like these people. So I said, if I ever find myself in a position where I can help someone one way or another, I will. That was the birth of my choice when I finally left that organization. So I left there ending of 2016, set up my company. I guess 3 months after I left that organization, and said, regardless of what I do, my thing is to always try and help. Specifically, I wanted to help ex-offenders like myself. Then as I got more involved in this kind of work, I realized, okay, there's some things I don't have the knowledge, or I can't do myself because I don't have certain qualifications, or working by myself, or I can't get entry into prisons as easy as working for an established organization. So, okay, started reaching out to companies, organizations, explained to them what I was doing, and then I just built the rapport of myself and the company up independently from there. And as I said, we've been running since 2017 now, and those are kind of areas in which we specialize in, working with ex-offenders, working with those on the brink of becoming ex-offenders or getting in trouble with the law, by providing them with opportunities, insight, and I guess in some ways first-hand knowledge of the benefits of what you're doing now, but the risks that will come in the long run, the ups and downs of this kind of life, and just giving people that insight into life. Because, you know, fast money, like most people will tell you in prison, doesn't last. And you get to a certain age and there aren't going to be that many people willing to give you their time to help once, you know, they've tried once, twice, 3 times. So if you do find people who want to change, and you find people who are willing to give their time, just put them together and watch the magic happen, I guess.
Good on you. Honestly, it's so inspiring. It really, really is. And I would, before we wrap up, Temi, I'd love just to quickly dive into the industry. And you mentioned right up at the start around just seeing so little diversity in the industry, and I think that has changed and is changing for sure. I'm not going to lie, you know, we as a company, we're not doing a great job at it, and I really want to change that. Really genuinely, like, you know, for Lily and I, it's such a big driver. But like, how do we? Sounds like such a silly question. I sound so naive saying it, but how do we start? How do we help? How do we get involved? Like, you know, yeah, I feel like an idiot asking it, but tell me.
No, so lots of people have asked that question, and to me, even I ask myself sometimes that same question when I'm trying to think, how do I help like people in terms of what we do? And do you know what? Just start. And what I mean by that is what you're doing now. Your team reached out, we had a conversation, and off the back of that, okay, we now know this is a company who, if they can, are willing to help. It's then on the organization ourselves. How can this organization help? And in coming together, how does it benefit both parties? So it's just about having that open and straightforward transparency and conversation so that people understand the barriers I'm facing, and okay, these are the barriers I'm facing based on the people I work with and the environments they're coming from. How do you feel you can help? And based on how you feel you can help, this is how we think this can help your organization. So everyone's getting something. We may have the knowledge and the know-how how to get into these areas and talk to some of the community people and grassroots organizations, and you have the knowledge in terms of speaking to some of the other corporate people that may be able to assist with what we're doing or helping these people get publicity by doing some promotional stuff or marketing stuff. So it's just about collaborating and understanding wants and needs on both sides, and then I guess in some ways meeting in the middle. And we don't always get things right, but it's starting something, or at least attempting to start, that shows, okay, let's see where this goes. If at the end of the day, the end goal is, you know, for both parties to be better, do better, and continue doing what they're doing, I guess you will get there in the end.
Yeah. I think so. And I'm a big believer in honesty and open conversations. Just saying, look, this is our position. You know, for you guys, what does it mean for you? What do you need from a company you work with? Same time, what does it mean for us? You know, financially, where are we at? All those kind of things. Then hopefully, yeah, you know, I would love us to find a way. And I know you're already talking to Ed about it, so that's ace. But yeah, let's keep that conversation going. And yeah, really appreciate, you know,
No problem.
just the ability to speak, and yeah, you know, you can't be what you can't see. I know that, and I know we've work to do. So, you know, looking forward to doing that work with you and others for sure. Temi, that's been amazing. Honestly, I could listen to you. You've got so many incredible stories. The stuff you're doing is mind blowing. Genuinely, I feel like you're so inspirational. You're doing so much to empower people and kids who just wouldn't get that opportunity. And geez, more power to you. I love it. So before we wrap up, because we're already over time, but I don't care. But before we wrap up, let's ask the three questions. So the big one, I think, for you, what does community mean to you?
Community. Well, I guess community for me is just having the ability to, is having the knowledge that I have people around me that if I need to talk to someone, I have people who are there. If I need assistance, whether it's personal life or job related, I have people there. If I am doubting myself for whatever reasons or need uplifting or support, I have people there.
Yeah.
If I'm doing something or I achieving something, I have people who, you know, will applaud and motivate me to continue going. Even if I stumble somewhere, I have people who don't worry, you know. Sometimes like losing is a reward in itself because you learn from that loss, and you just need people in your corner to reinforce, you know, don't beat yourself up, or you're doing well. And it's just having all of those things in one.
People in your corner, that's it. I love it. Yeah. And another one. So interested to hear your thoughts on this. Why is climate important?
I think climate is important because, in a nutshell, like, the earth we live in is such a beautiful place. It would be a disaster for just like, I went on my trip and the things I saw in terms of like just scenic views and natural habitats and green spaces that haven't been messed up by tower blocks and modern day trains and all of that kind of stuff. And literally you could just sit somewhere for hours and just take in the views, and it just brings peace of mind as well as serenity to your being in those kind of places. And when you find yourselves in I guess less westernized places, and you see the people of the land and how they use the land in their everyday day-to-day life, you realize like they're living a very stress-free life because they don't have, oh, where's my phone charger? Oh, where's,
Have I got a bloody WhatsApp?
I see. So it's just, I think simplicity is key in terms of life, and keeping the climate as simple and as straightforward in its natural habitat as it is one of the best things for anyone to kind of visualize, so that they can see the beauty in terms of nature, the animals, how people adapt to their surroundings, and just how life is a lot easier living off of the basics, like plant some vegetables, grow some flowers, go for a walk, smell the fresh air. There's so many things about the climate I could say. I'm going on a trip again next year. I'm actually cycling back to Africa. So part of that journey is all about climate, travel and tourism. And I guess I can express more in terms of why we need to look after the environment a lot more, and the benefits in terms of how people can use a bike to travel, navigate the world, and just take it in. Just take it. So like I said,
I get a feeling there's going to be a lot of poetry in that. That was a very passionate and poetic answer, Temi. I love it. And last one. Okay, right. So you are clearly one of the most positive and driven guys I've met, for sure. What is it that keeps you positive? What is it gets you up in the morning and keeps you pushing on doing this amazing work?
Just life in itself, really.
Yeah.
As I said before, I know I cannot get the time I've lost while I was in prison back ever, but it's like every day I try to do as much as I can, because I did lose a lot of time. So it's like I'm playing catch up, but now I'm free, and well, I've been free. It's almost 11, 12 years now. It's just like every day is an opportunity to do something new, do something different, meet new people, go new places, try new things. So why not? Like tomorrow, unfortunately, if God says it's my time, I may not be here. And one thing for me is I don't want any regrets in life when that day comes, or at least if, in old age, I'm reflecting on anything. Oh, I wish I did this when I was younger. Having my freedom taken away from me just gave me a realization. Life is very short. Anything can happen. And, live life to the fullest every day that you can. Make yourself happy more than anything. If I'm happy, it makes it a lot easier for me to help someone else, be there for someone else, motivate someone else, encourage someone else. So I try to keep myself as happy as possible. I don't really give any thought into anything I can't control, because that will just stress me even more. And I live a very simple life. Kids, family, I ride my bike, I go to the gym, and I eat. And whenever I can, I travel.
It's clearly working for you.
That's like in life, what more can you ask for? Like glitz and glamour, as I said, I feel I did that when I was a kid. It brings you attention, but is it attention you want? And for me, it's not attention I want. Luxurious things in in a in a few more years, when I've got time and I don't want to run around and do a million and one things, cool. If the resources are there to live lavishly and that's the mindset I have, I'll try and do that. But for the most part, life in itself is very simple. And I feel as human beings, it's us that make things difficult because,
Oh, I know, it's
you
so
know,
true.
we we put too much pressure on ourselves. We allow other people's opinions sometimes to get the better of us, and we try to be things we're not. We doubt ourselves, and at the end of the day, as I said, not to be like a downer, but life is short. It's not promised for anyone. So as long as you are not upsetting anybody, do what makes you happy every single day that you can. And in that, I believe other people will see your happiness and it's contagious. Other
Really,
people will see, okay, how comes you're always happy? What do you do? And well, I'm gonna try that, and you just live your life, man, the best way you can. If someone's doing something you don't like, well, make a choice. Do you want to be there or not? That's what our company is my choice. Every choice you make in your life ultimately is yours. Remember that. Be the owner of your life and your decisions, and as long as you are content with the choices you've made, like can't really
can't
be,
ask for more.
you know.
Ah, such a legend, superstar. Do you know what? I hope you don't mind me, but I'm going to say you really remind me. Your attitude really reminds me of my granddad, who was my biggest hero when I was growing up. So he was
Cool.
a tank commander in the Second World War. So he had 5 years taken away from him. He was
Okay.
this, when he was actually, do you know what? The same age, 17, he went to war. 22, he finished.
Oh,
And he was in a real horrible situation, fighting. And he came back anyway with this real zest for life because he was like, he'd seen so many buddies die, so many
imagine.
people had their lives taken, way too early. And he was like, every day's a blessing. And he was the happiest, most inspirational man. And I just get that sense from you, like yeah, I love it. Brilliant. Genuinely, Temi, thank you for your time. It's really
Appreciate
inspiring to talk to someone
it.
so driven and motivated and making such a difference. You're a ledge. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I've got nothing more to say. I can't beat top that. Thank you, and looking forward to working with you as we go on.
Likewise. Appreciate the
Awesome.
time, and thank you and Ed for reaching out. One of many conversations I'm sure we are gonna have and continue to have. And I look forward to talking to you again, man. It's been a pleasure. Real
Absolutely
pleasure. Thank you.
awesome. Thanks, Temi.
No problem.